So beautiful.
I may have to look on this other computer.
So what's happening?
I am looking for the link.
Okay.
I'm not finding it. Hello, everybody. We are trying to find the link to send out to people. So, just in case there's any questions. And hello, everybody. We are trying to find the link to send out to people. So, just in case there's any questions.
How are we looking? What's happening?
What's also happening is there's an echo because I have it right here. So
But
I'm going
we're
to.
live right now on
We are
YouTube.
live right now.
Can we tell if anybody's in the room?
Um, there is one person watching. It's probably myself.
Okay.
Um, so I am going to
I get it.
send this link. Here, I got the link now. And this is good now. So I was able to mute that. Okay. Send this to myself. There we go. I'm going to send you the link too. Okay. I got that photo of B from your page.
But it looked like you had like perfected it. No,
No, it did
girl,
not.
you know that's a screen grab from the video.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wish it was more crisp like your other pictures.
I actually like love this one the most, but they didn't do a still photo of this.
Mm. Oh my goodness. And
Um,
you couldn't take a picture with your phone, huh?
Girl, who was even going to be tempted to?
No, she don't mess with the phones coming out.
No, because you already know you signed the NDA, you've done all these things. Like,
Right.
I have some BTS photos, but even after this has come out, I don't feel. Courtney, I was scared to tell people I did this body paint
I know you were.
because
I
it's
know you
almost like
were.
you feel like something's gonna come and say no
Yes.
because you can't even
Even
believe.
probably up to watching it. Like, did they take it out?
Yeah, it really hasn't even fully sunk in, even like on levels upon levels upon levels. And that's just the trajectory and having so many situations where you had the skill set, but people counted you out because you didn't
Yes.
have the notoriety or the fame.
Mm-hmm.
And so it starts making you question yourself as an artist. I will tell you, as an assistant, I have actual Vogue covers
Oh
where
my.
it's my makeup work, but because I was assisting someone, it's their credit.
Wow.
And so to have something as major as Beyonce and it's Nobody's arguing about the credit of what I did and what I can do. You have to digest and reconcile that,
Mm.
especially as a Black female artist in the beauty space.
Hmm. And that's part of the Black Parade, but we're going to talk about that.
I mean, listen,
So are you ready?
I'm
I mean,
ready.
we've been live for a minute, right?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. We're calling this Michela, or
Michela,
AB.
yes, or AB.
Yes. And a conversation with Brwn Skn Girl, How I Know Her, by Courtney Savoy Harper.
Yes.
And I'm not going to read this all the way out, but I do want to talk about, especially this first paragraph. You're a beauty expert that embodies true artistry. Her consistent work with globally recognized artists in the industry and universal cosmetic brands, it makes her a go-to artist for runway, beauty editorials, print media. Her precision and attention to nuanced detail takes her to artistry and extraordinarily, so I didn't want to stumble too much on all the words here, but I need to know how we got to this point. So I have my notes because I know, even just watching you back in the day on Periscope, you don't believe in live without notes, right?
No, I do believe in notes. Oh my God, I am the
Oh
note.
no, I'm saying without notes, going live.
Yeah,
without
exactly.
notes.
I don't
Yeah.
believe in going live because there's so much we always want to say, and the way the human brain works, we need guidance.
Right.
We need to
And
stay on track.
I used to call you Kella, but now I'm seeing you say your name a lot different than when I used to call you that. Just for the record, pronounce your full name clear.
So my full name is pronounced Michela Wariebi,
Okay.
not Michaela, to
Right.
emphasize that it's Michela.
Michela.
And so when people call me Kella, that's fine. I do really appreciate when people call me Michela, but I also am known as Mick, Kells, and Kella.
Right. I'll work on that a bit. So I really want to go back to almost like in theme of Black is King to when you were young, where you're from. I've known you to have a strong Liberian ancestry, but I would like you to take us back a little bit where you're from and maybe you as a child that you may now see the connection to where you are today.
So I am a primarily Liberian and Nigerian person, but maybe people will say primarily Liberian. I was born in Liberia. I grew up with kind of a Liberian community, but my father is also Nigerian, and my father's mother is Ghanaian. So I will say that even though I identify primarily as Liberian, I'm a child of West Africa. I'm a child of the Gold Coast. I'm a reflection of what happens often is that people from different countries, procreate together, and you have these people that are an amalgamation of several countries in a particular area. And yeah, that is who I am. And that love of color, texture, and vibrancy is very evident in the work that I create. And that's really what my background is. And then I grew up in the United States. So, with all that West African background, I'm also from Maryland.
We have a lot of people proud of you. What high school?
I went to both Paint Branch and Blake House School in Moco. You already know what it is. I am a DMV girl just as much as I'm a Liberian because I'm here for my blue crabs, my mumbo sauce, all of that. That's how I speak. That's how I grew up. And so I had my microcosm of like an African community, but at the same time, I grew up in a Black American and diverse community because we already know how diverse, PG and MoCo are, Montgomery County. And so I had those two things. So when people talk about style shifts from like the King's English, if you will, to AAVE, I have that, but I also have more than that because I will style shift from Pidgin, African, Liberian English, etc., to something that's more Americanized. So I'm all of those things.
And let's go into college.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't know this. So I guess this is a time to say we've known each other since the early 2000s.
Yes.
I'm not quite sure which date. Um, yeah, why not a shout out back in the day, the fam. What's up, everybody from the fam?
What's up, the
Yeah.
fam?
And we got
That was a beautiful space.
Yeah, and we got to even collaborate on some stuff. I don't know if you remember the Lady X art show where you came when you're a vendor with your jewelry.
Oh my God, yes, with my bright red glitter lip.
Yes, and I knew then, but we need to talk about that, how that shifted from jewelry to makeup, because we could see it. We could see it with the lips and we knew it was coming, but how that shifted. But I want you to take us to, we heard about you from a little girl. I want to hear about college and what you majored in. Did you already start to see the signs? Talk to and where you went, because I'm sure everybody wants to know.
I went to University of Maryland, College Park. Go Terps. Never lose your shell, of course. And I love that school so very much. And I was actually a business major. So I have 2 bachelor's degrees, one in information systems and one in international business. And I thought that was my trajectory. But even in that space, as a leader in that school, a leader that was like one of the few leaders that were Black, one of the few leaders that were immigrants, I always tried to champion that they needed to diversify, to include things like fashion and beauty in the conversation about business, because University of Maryland is primarily a technology and finance school in terms of our business school. But I was on the technology track, but in my heart of hearts, I knew that wasn't really what I wanted to do. So I wanted my school almost to give affirmation that there is business that exists in beauty and fashion and those spaces that aren't too often celebrated. And they didn't, truth be told. People thought I was crazy because I would have those conversations. You know, I was creating events like Business Out of the Box, where I was bringing in like printing companies or graphic companies and people that just weren't finance and tech, because that's what the school was focused on. But what people don't understand, finance, as COVID has demonstrated, finance and tech can fall to the side. Tech may be holding on a little bit, but I have a lot of friends that are programmers and designers that have lost their jobs. But, but
I don't completely out.
But with things like beauty and fashion, yeah, our industries have slowed down, but beauty is now just in a digital space. We can't do makeup on someone's face. We are doing makeup even on people's faces now. Like all the things aren't happening because of COVID. But ultimately, you know, if people study effects, there's no finance effect. There's a lipstick effect. That is a studied, proven financial and societal phenomenon that happens during times of recession, where women who are primarily the people who really use the income that comes into the home, sales of lipsticks increase during times of recession and pandemic, whereas nobody says finance, like, you know, goes up. And so when I was at that school, I tried to really create that conversation. And unfortunately, it didn't happen. But I hope that with such a major shift in the world and how we see how things can survive and what longevity really means, that people realize the strength of the beauty and fashion industry, more so beauty than anything, regardless of whether it's recession or whatnot. People still want to look good.
All the time, even under the mask. Well, I have a lip.
Let me tell you, this red lip was definitely under a mask earlier today. And I don't do that all the time, but also even if I want to sit in my house, we know the power of just doing a little dust on your face and putting a lip on does for just how you feel, you know. So the visual beauty is really entangled with mental health, but people don't want to talk about that.
Absolutely. I know whenever I'm sick, I like to say, just I beat my face and you feel how you look, right?
Yep, 100%. You feel how you look.
Absolutely.
And so we can't discount makeup as being frivolous or just based on vanity because
Hmm.
we are visual creatures.
Right. Back to a little bit more of and how we know each other. Um, we talked about the art show that you're in. I do want to talk about, is that love still there of jewelry making, and how did you transition, or you continue to do it? And when I saw Beyonce in that jewelry, I'm like, did she do that jewelry? So tell us a little more about that, the other things you're
So
interested in with the arts.
I will tell you that most people that follow me now have no idea that I ever was a jewelry maker
Wow.
or a metalsmith. They would be shocked to hear you say that. And it's still something I love and think about constantly. As an Aries, uh, part of the things that talk about our astrological sign is that we have a power with metal.
Mm.
And as a jewelry lover, wanting to create jewelry is something that's always with me. I've stepped away, obviously, because of what I've been doing with makeup, but I will definitely be circling back to that 100%. There's none of that. I wish I created the jewelry that Beyonce was wearing because it's
Yes.
really aligned with my aesthetic, to be honest.
Yes. I was
Which is
like,
part of
that's
what
why I
made me so
wondered.
it
And that,
made me so excited of what she was wearing because it is so aligned with who I am and what I create. But that will come at some point. Things that are inherent to who you are, you don't forget. They will make a round back to you.
mhm. Well, that's now I want to talk more about what you've been currently doing with your education. And no, it's all good.
Sorry.
That's live. With your education and teaching others, and your humble approach, as you have in your bio, and you have catapulted a lot of makeup artists. Um, is there more? Where are we going with it? What's next? Basically, are we continuing, or are
For
we
me,
on
I want to I want to continue creating my art.
Mhm.
And I say that in a way that I really want to continue sharing my vision with the world. Some of that is continuing to work with others, and some of that is continuing to create work in my own space. So it's a balance of the two. People can definitely expect more from me because for me, doing makeup is less about, making your homegirl look pretty to go to the club tonight, because that's not really my client. I
Right.
have some of those people, but people aren't calling me for those things. People are calling me for things. Oh, I lost you. Wait, what's happening?
I'm
Um,
gone.
wait, oh, you can still hear
Yeah.
me.
Hmm.
Oh, I just can't see you. Your face disappeared, so I'll just continue talking.
Thanks to my
I was like,
Wi-Fi.
wait, what happened? People will. I was like, huh? So I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought a little bit.
No,
Please
you're
remind me
you're
what I was
okay.
saying.
You're okay. I think I lost it too just now. I think you're talking about wanting to continue working with people.
Oh yeah.
And yeah,
So or just I want to continue creating the art that speaks to my experiences, my cultural influences, etc. But I also create enough work to pay my bills because
right.
everybody isn't here for Afrofuturism, body paint, whatever. And I do beauty makeup as well, so I'm doing those things. But where I see it going from here, I want to keep creating my work that speaks to my experiences as a African woman and first generation African immigrant in the United States, and the things that I'm influenced by and that resonate with me. And what I really hope is that it inspires other people that are around me, that are not around me, that see me, who have thought they wanted to create work like this as well, but thought that maybe it wasn't appropriate.
Mm.
Because if we really, you know, if this isn't going to talk about racial injustice or anything like that,
Are we going
but
there for
if
sure?
you work in the space of beauty and fashion and whatnot, I remember so many people telling me, you need to have more white girls in your portfolio. You need to just focus on being able to do beautiful white skin. When that wasn't really who I wanted to be as an artist, but I did those things. And they were right. It gave me notoriety. And after that notoriety, I was able to create my other work. But I want to encourage other people, create what the hell you want to create, because we're experiencing a shift at this point, and you don't have to present the whitewashed first before you present anything else.
Absolutely. And also, just to talk about skin, Brown Skin Girl, if anyone's wondering about that, not only is that Beyonce's song, but that was her username when? Since 2000 what?
It had to be like 2002,
Yeah,
2000. Like
that,
it was shortly after I got out of high school and was about to be in college, so, or leaving college. So it was somewhere behind 2002 and 2007.
and to like this idea of speaking all this into fruition. I saw you say that somewhere. I'm not sure if it was a post or a video. Um, I mean, you're not dead. More is going to come from you, and it's not the end of your journey, but it is a full circle to this point. This is you're in a moment right now that needs to be acknowledged. And how did you see this coming? How did you envision this? And did you see this moment? Did you see this for yourself? Were you doubtful? And when did you see it for yourself? At what age? Or not age
Um,
necessarily, maybe around what time?
I absolutely did not see this for
Wow.
myself, if I can be
Wow.
frank. You know, even delving into makeup, I didn't really understand how extensive the idea and all encompassing the idea of being a makeup artist could be. I didn't see myself working on music videos. I damn sure didn't see myself working with Beyonce. I didn't see people celebrating my work as a makeup artist or body painter as much. I just wanted a little space to be able to do makeup and make money and create a good living for myself. And the notoriety and things that have come with the opportunities that I've received, I had zero anticipation of this. And this was
Okay.
not my plan. I didn't even dare to dream of this. I didn't dare to
Mm,
be a core member of Pat McGrath's team. I didn't dare to be body painting Beyonce. I just wanted to be able to do some makeup and make a living. That's it, literally.
how were you blessed with this opportunity?
Through my network. That's it.
Mm.
People
And
know you are what you want to do. They're in positions where they're asked for creatives that have this skill set. And that's how I got this opportunity. Just because people all the time want to say it's all about who you know, and it's not that at all. It's about who knows you.
that, absolutely. So, you can't give away too much of who it was, or but where were you? How did you react? How did you keep the secret? Were you able to tell at least one person? Did your
No, you can't tell nobody, first of all.
Not one person? So
Uh, you already know how B does about not getting the word out for whatever she's creating. So you can't tell anybody.
wow. So you were flued out somewhere.
This is I will tell you my part was in New York. I feel
Okay.
comfortable saying that
Yes.
because this was a project that was filmed all over. I was in New York, but you can't, you know, you have to respect, these are people that are creating these projects, and you have to respect their privacy and whatnot. Even beyond NDA, you have to be just like a respectable person. You have to recognize what the nature of these things are and hold on to your, like, you have to recognize and know. And so I was quiet. I didn't feel the need to tell everybody, say what was going on. Because if you feel so much the need to do, it's about like acknowledgement. I was so like satisfied the fact that I had experienced this.
Yeah.
That was great. But ultimately, I respect who Beyonce is enough, and I respect myself as an artist, and wanting more opportunities after this, that I'm not going to say anything. Like, you signed an NDA, you know how this industry works, and you respect that. And so you're quiet.
So
And
let me ask you this. The world feels like it's ending in 2020, especially at the peak around early March. And you had finished this amazing project. Were you as anxious or sad as everybody else in the world, or were you like, I just did an amazing project and I can't wait for it to come out. 2020 is my year. How did you have a
first of all, I'm
paradox?
going to tell you, first and foremost, my optimism about 2020 had nothing to do with Beyonce.
I know
Because
that's right.
before Black is King, none of us had any idea when any of this was going to come out. We were just waiting. And I had actually resolved myself to believing it would never come out.
Mm.
And so my optimism about 2020 has nothing to do with Beyonce. Although I'm forever grateful for this experience and the space that she allowed for me to be an artist. Also, Beyonce is not God. This pandemic is so much bigger than who she is.
Right.
So, how I've been approaching this, et cetera, has not been based on holding on to the fact that I painted Beyonce.
I know
Did
that's
I
right.
want to make sure that this came out and I wanted people to celebrate the art that I did, and I want people to know that, yes, I worked with Queen, Beyonce, Giselle Knowles Carter. Yes, I did, because who the fuck wouldn't?
Mm-hmm.
She's Beyonce, Giselle Knowles Carter. Like,
Absolutely.
we all know the caliber of talent and
Yeah.
performer that she is.
And when I say 2020, I'm not just speaking about COVID. I'm speaking about the uprise, the racial injustice, and actually that's more so what I was talking about, even though that part is also huge, the pandemic. But it almost feels like, if from my perspective, thinking about you, like you have a little present for us. Like we're going through it, maybe feeling a little not seen. I mean, that's the life story, but we have protect Black women, obviously Black Lives Matter. And people were feeling sad and doubtful and depressed. And even though I want to say it's just a film, it is so inspirational that we needed it. We needed it. We were needing it. Maybe some people who didn't know they needed it. And to be a part of that in 2020, it was perfect timing from my perspective. And from this point, this idea of Black Parade, her website. Am I breaking up?
You're fine.
Oh, okay. This Black Parade, having people on her website, businesses, um, giving people opportunities. Are you inspired to do the same? Or you already have been?
Truth is, I already have been.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I've had, like, I always try to Black voices and to give opportunities to other Black artists. Is not to say that I would never hire or refer someone that's not Black, but the truth of the matter is, my first thought is always like, who's a Black person I can afford, like, refer this to or help, because as much and just have an opportunity to give some of us an opportunity, I'm gonna do that. And so, for me, Black is King was a situation where, everybody that worked on this wasn't Black, obviously, but to give such a large platform to so many Black creatives, both in the diaspora and otherwise, It's more than we can ask for. You know, I've been doing the work as how I can, but for like me, for Beyonce, she literally doesn't even have to do this. She could have been giving us bugaboo energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we will say nothing.
Right.
You know, and so that's kind of the same energy I carry, is that this is just going to be part of who I am as an artist. You know, you go on my social media, I talk about race relations and injustices and things of the sort, and I lose followers, and people are like, this is supposed to be about beauty. And I can't talk about these things without talking about these other things. So for me, Black is King is a continuation.
A continuation. I would say for myself, you know, obviously as an educator as well, and I've been doing this, but it feels like this 2020, it's no more asking for permission.
Mm-hmm.
It's creating spaces. That's why we're here right now. I wanted to know more about you. I was in a chat with my friend. Actually, one of them is on here right now. Hey, Lauren. I see you in the chat. If you guys have any questions, you can. I see the chat. She went to University of Maryland as well, and then that's another friend was saying Nigerians are always doing it big, and that's where this all came from. This idea. I was like, wait a minute, do I know her? I was like, I got to create the space to interview her myself.
But you know, Courtney, I'm really tired of people having that type of rhetoric about Nigerians. It's like, oh, Nigerians are always doing it. Nigerians are always doing it. And they want to put a negative connotation on that, as opposed to celebrating that these people from this like continent of Africa and this specific country of Nigeria are so committed to excellence that they are perpetually running in so every industry you can think of. If they're present there, they are winning. That is not an idea of anything about a commitment to excellence culturally. And every Black person should be like celebrating that and wanting to emulate that. Nigerians get a lot of slack about like, you know, the fraud and the 419, et cetera. And even though I don't support that, that's also a mark of excellence. These people are able to like basically fucking win the game of scamming in a way that has become a specific area that's studyable in like business cases. I don't celebrate crime and stealing from others, but like, let's acknowledge Nigerian greatness across the board.
Always.
This culturally, they are committed to excellence always. If you're a Nigerian, no matter if you like, primarily they want you to be a doctor, an engineer, or a lawyer. If you're not those things, you go into another space, you better be absolutely excellent. It's just cultural. And people always try to make it something other than that. And it's like, no, from birth, every Nigerian is bred to only like aspire to excellence. Whether you're a whole thief and a scammer, or you're a legitimate artist and body painter like myself, you are always ascribing to excellence. And I want people to stop looking at that with disdain and putting a negative connotation on it. And I wanted them to look at it and be inspired and be empowered to say, look at what Nigerians are doing.
Right.
Nigerians are they're Black people just like you.
Right.
You can aspire for that.
I'm some kind of Nigerian, possibly Haitian.
You very much. You can be an Igbo woman through and through. Like Nigerians just always like ascribe to greatness in clothing and wedding design. Do you know right now in the world, Nigeria, along with India, is one of the like the inspiration points for weddings and bridal?
Didn't know.
Because they do it so exceedingly well. And I'm really at a place that I'm like, I want people to stop making this seem like it's something that's so strange. Nigerians are just excellent. They ascribe for excellence always. Not every single Nigerian is achieving it, but people want to look at like, oh, Nigerians are everywhere. Nigerians are that. Like, as opposed to looking at it in a negative connotation, think about why Nigerians are able to penetrate every industry in every place. It's not because they're cheaters, it's because they're excellent. Period.
Yes. And I now know some Guyanese is also there. And did you actually live in Liberia? Is that where you were?
I lived there for 6 years as a
Okay.
child. That's where I was
Okay.
born, that's where I grew up. But I emphasize this to people all the time. You know, Liberia was going through a civil war, so the majority of the population that could left. And we settled in city centers. There's a lot of Liberians in Maryland. There's a lot of Liberians in Minnesota, you know, places like that. And so most of my mother's friends settled in the same area that she was. So those are my childhood friends, were other Liberian children. And I grew up in a Liberian community. So when I say I'm Liberian, I may not be maybe as Liberian as a person that grew up in Liberia, but I didn't just come to the United States and then adapt, you know, American practices and values and whatnot.
That
Like
had to be hard in Maryland.
Oh, honey, listen, my name was African Booty Scratcher.
I was
And
called an African booty scratcher too somehow.
which is, yeah,
So, like, I'm not even sure where my roots were from, but I was also an African booty scratcher. At the time, I didn't. But
yeah, so that's what we experience. And
yeah.
I'm so glad that I've been able to come around to a place that those things didn't stay with me and I can celebrate being a person from the continent. But yeah, that's where a lot of that started.
Yes. So we got to talk about, and I was going with the theme of Black is King, as if you were Nala more so, not Simba, of how you were as a child to how you grew and where you are now, where you're going. Anything more you want to add on to this?
I mean, you know, I've watched Black is King. I was a participant in this. And as you know, with anything that's released, there's 10,000 think pieces. And people saying, why didn't Beyonce do this? And why didn't Beyonce do that? And I don't know if I shouldn't say this or if I shouldn't, but I'm going to say this. I think that we sometimes need to take a step back and assess our need to criticize and assess our need to celebrate. Because ultimately, Beyonce is a performer. She's not a Senate majority leader. She's not the leader of a country. She's not any of those things. She could choose not to do anything at all celebrating Blackness. And she is showing up for us. Everybody's going to do this fight against racial injustice and the misconception and misperceptions and the enculturation of how Black people are less than, which we know is not true in their own way. We say all the time, everyone's going to be a part of the fight differently. Some people are going to protest. Some people are going to write poems. Some people are going to sing songs. Some people are going to join legislature. But for some reason, people don't want to give Beyonce that grace to say she's doing her part in the fight, but she's not doing it necessarily in how you want to. Who else, Courtney? Tell me, who else with a platform like this is amplifying Blackness?
Nobody.
In the way that she did.
And so authentically.
Authentic.
Research. She's respectful. Bringing people to the table who should be. She's not regurgitating people. She looks for that underdog who isn't appreciated. She said this before. And the Black Parade, just the website with everyone is now stimulating their business. It's almost like she created her own reparations for us.
And so people that say, you know, Black is King is not queer enough. Black is King is not fat enough. Black is King is not all those things. I say everybody's not going to be everything to you.
Right.
But we need to respect when someone is doing something effective for the fight. And that's what Beyonce did, because what people are not holding on to is that there's so many young people that looked at this, not us that are 30 something, not even us that are 20 something, the teenagers, the preteens, the toddlers that have really not seen an aesthetic that reflected who they are. And they gave them permission. to be unapologetically Black, that they don't have to whitewash those things. So people can give all their think pieces, but I'm like, continue to give your think piece behind a keyboard where you've created nothing that affirmed Blackness and that encouraged the next generation to continue this narrative of being unapologetic about what we are. Beyonce is not a perfect person, but I give her her praise and her recognition for doing something that nobody has done before.
And it's even deeper than almost Black is King. Working with Disney, the history of Disney.
Historically racist.
Yes. And then her being, you know, a manager of Haley, who is now Little Mermaid. That was, I'm sure, part of the deal. And her Be Good campaign. This type of money is probably generating this idea of voting still. Like, it's still going to come back to those grassroots things, like getting everybody to vote. It's all together. It's a lot of behind the scenes this project has fueled.
And that's literally my point. People want to judge things like, well, I didn't see enough fat bodies in Black is King. But didn't you see that in Lemonade? And there were fat people in Black is King, etc. Or are we going to talk about the overall conversation about this, the fact that this woman is making a concerted effort to uplift Black people, period. It may not be perfect in your eyes and include everybody, but even if she's uplifting somebody else is going to come to help to uplift those people too. Everybody can't do all the work. And the fact that people have that expectation of Beyonce is unfair.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. It was so good talking to you.
Oh, absolutely. A joy. And thank you.
I feel like I could talk to you all day. And for people just getting on, we were chatting before we got on here. I guess some of that may not have made it, but you know, it's natural. I'm gonna keep it natural.
100%. I think you could definitely do this interviewing thing.
Oh, you're so nice. I really intrinsically want to know, and I just wanted to make sure I gave it respect and justice. I do want to, let's show a little more of this work of yours.
I'm happy to share space with you and, you know, this conversation with you.
Yes, a little more.
Can I tell you, I look at that and still can't believe I did that.
Gorgeous. Yeah, let's go back. Let's talk about that for a moment, just before we go. Did you get a understanding of, like, let me talk about the actual art as an artist. We talked about you, and I mean, your work is you, but did you already have an idea or plan of what you wanted to do? Or did you come up on the spot? Was it collaborative?
Oh, yes, I had.
And actually, I have more questions now that I'm looking at this. This is the same green that was on that man. Did you do that man too? Or did you take that green?
I did him in some, myself and other artists did him and other dancers in some scenes, but everything wasn't filmed the same place. So other people did things at other places.
And what is the symbolism of that man? Do you know? In the actual,
I don't actually.
I was trying to figure it out.
I will tell you, I think my assumption is that it's about oxidized brass.
This is just beautiful. I'm looking at this from the top down to her lips, and that's the same pigment used on the lips with the body.
Everything. I didn't do the lips. Her beauty artist did the lips. So I didn't do her face. I just did the paint.
Oh my goodness. I do have a question.
Please.
I don't even know if it is right. Well, I'll just say it in a romantic way because it's practicing mindfulness of smell, touch. What was your, if you could put yourself back there, what does she smell like? That's what I said. What was she like?
That is the question that I've been asked the most.
Yeah, and that's the question asked. What does she smell like? I was trying to say it.
As to why, like, I don't even know why people are inclined to want to know a human. I don't know. Like
a human.
I didn't make note of that, like, at all. Like, you know, I don't know how much I can talk about this, but I want to say that without potentially violating my NDA, and
no, don't you dare.
Here, I will say that Beyonce is not lying about who she is. She is who she presents herself to be.
Bravo. Well, I guess we can end it there. Very proud of you. We see you. I feel so proud to watch your. I feel weird saying full circle because I don't. It's like you're done. You're not done. You're going to continue on.
You can complete a full circle and go into a new circle.
He's going to a new circle. Brown Skn Girl worked with the anthem of Brwn Skn Girl. Like what? Yeah. So exciting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was a blessing to be a part of this project, and I'm grateful that people recognize myself as an artist, as being a part of something so historic and iconic, and I'm grateful through and through. So thank you.
Thank you.